Look, everybody, I hope the volume's working. Friends, I don't know what to say, friends. I'm literally in the damn Twilight Zone. I am in an alternate universe. I got an ankle bracelet on my damn ankle, friends, and I haven't broken any damn laws. Friends, I deleted every number of every family member out of both my phones. Friends, I can't believe this. I can't even go to, friends, I am terrified right now. What do I do, everyone? Should I just go run off in the sunset? Friends, I almost sent my mom a text today, but then the Holy Spirit says, no, 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 that's a violation. Who's paying my bills? Friends, how in the hell are my bills getting paid? I can't reach out to the, friends, I can't even, friends, we're going to call her the petitioner. Friends, what do you do in this situation? You just let a lady runs to the courts, lies, and then throws you in jail and has you injuncted. You got an overzealous detective that's out to get you because you tattletoed on the sheriff. Friends, y'all can have the sheriff. I don't really stinking care anymore, you know? It's all harassment. I got a meeting with the Esquire tomorrow, 10 o'clock Central Time. Friends, I'm heading back to the campsite. I was able to go get my evidence, friends. I got my laptop. It's got the video that the petitioner don't want y'all to know about. Friends, we're not going to talk about my family and my problems anymore. I will bring up a little bit just because I know a lot of men go through this. It's a nightmare. I'm in the damn Twilight Zone, everybody. I can't believe that I am literally blameless. I have done nothing wrong. I don't drink. I don't drug. I had a petitioner run to the courts and tell the courts I'm some type of maniac because the petitioner can't tell the difference between the character that I play on the internet and me, Ronnie Messer, the real man. The petitioner said I'm a heavy user of marijuana. There is no marijuana in my system, everybody. I'm in the damn Twilight Zone. But friends, I did. I bought a Starlink. Right over yonder, friends. Look at that. Look at that Starlink. You can't see it. Friends, I bought a Starlink. Elon Musk. I bought the Mini. I got my military discount at Home Depot. I picked me up some dinner, friends. I hadn't really had a meal. Friends, I've not had a real meal in like a month. I've been eating homeless people food until the petitioner reached out to the detective, the girly man detective, and had me violated, and then I spent 3 days in the county jail. Friends, that's okay. It's okay, friends. I didn't. The worst is waiting to get bonded out, waiting for this, waiting for that. I can't, friends. It's a nightmare. I'm in the stinking Twilight Zone. You know. On Tuesday, the judge at my arraignment, I was treated like the worst criminal in the world. They did not care. They didn't care about nothing. The state attorney brought up every time I had ever been in trouble. And friends, it was only a handful. And most of them were nonsense drinking issues like 20-something years ago. Come on, friend. Why do you got to tailgate me? I don't need no damn trouble. But everybody, I went down to evidence. I picked up my belongings, and believe it or not, I don't know why the guy did it, but he put all my cash and he put my wallet in with all the other stuff. I don't know. I can't help to, detective, I know you're watching. I can't help to think that was some form of a harassment. But then, friends, I went down. I got a new tag on my truck because my truck's about to expire. I don't want no trouble, friends. And I got my Starlink because I get to go talk to my children tonight. Friends, I hadn't seen my children in like a month because friends, we got to call her the petitioner. I am terrified. If I make one mistake, I'm in jail for a year. Friends, I'll be in jail for a year. 1 year I'll be in jail. No bond. Because what? I was doing some peaceful protests. I was trying to help out Mr. H.K. Edgerton with all this evil. Friends, my protesting days are not done. Ceasefire. We will never do that again. I learned my lesson the hard way. It ain't like it really accomplished anything, you know. It was fun. I've always wanted to do that because I thought we lived in America. But I was taught the hard way that we don't live in America any longer. We just don't live in America, everyone. It breaks my heart. It truly does, you know. Friends, I can't even say it. Anything, I'm being watched by so many people right now. They don't like the fact that I was exposing some of these things. They wanted y'all to forget about all the sheriff's issues, and they don't want y'all to know about the VA. They just want y'all to get back to your football and your drunkenness. Good thing I don't drink. It'd be real hard to buy alcohol with no money. I mean, friends, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? You know, am I supposed to just give up and just say, y'all win? Y'all have my children. It makes sense why men flee these situations. It makes sense why men get warrants for their arrest because they don't pay child support. Friends, I'm not a deadbeat daddy. I'm literally the dad of the year. Before this nightmare, when the petitioner was going to work, I was getting up when the petitioner would go home. Friends, I'm not even going to say this lady's name because then I'll get violated and spend a year in jail because this knucklehead of a detective will say, well, you were communicating indirectly with her in your live streams. Oh, no, sir. No, I'm not. Absolutely not. We got the Talking Parent app up going, detective, and I'm going to keep that 100% to the children. Friends, I don't know how the bills are getting paid because the petitioner took all the money out of the account. I guess I just get to lose all my credit. I have to lose everything because the petitioner had a cycle going on here. I don't know what else to do. I do have some belongings in that home that I need. You know, I'd love to get my student Bible. I would love to get my gaming computer because it's a little better than the lowest bidder laptop that I bought for my ministry, my work. But I'm terrified. What if I call the sheriff and I say, hey, I need y'all to meet me 500 feet down the street so I can go to the home and collect some clothing and get my laptop and my lawsuit paperwork. But I got my ankle bracelet. And what if I call the folks up at the GPS and say, look, I got 2 sheriff's deputies. I'm about to walk in my home, but then the detective flags me because I violated the 500 feet. Friends, you can't trust nobody. So friends, I can literally live with what I have until January the 11th. January the 11th, everybody. Friends, I mean, I just can't explain this. I am literally in the sneaking twilight zone. Friends, I'm blameless. I would not say that if I wasn't blameless. All these men that I spent the last couple of days with, they had a battery charge associated with their injunction. Or there was a strangulation charge. Or there was some other charge that went along with it. All I did was I texted my mother-in-law and I just apologized that we're going through this. And I did. I dressed down my mother in it. But friends, in the injunction, my mother is the victim. It didn't say stepmother, it said mother. It said the petitioner and the mother. What do I do? I can't reach out to the victim, my mother, and say, hey, is anybody paying her bills? I don't have the money to pay the bills. I'm living off a damn credit card right now. I don't get any more money till the 1st because I'm 100% service connected. Everybody, what y'all have to understand is this lawsuit, when I decided to sue the Department of Veteran Affairs, it literally started to just ripping my life apart. I lost the $90,000 year. Friends, it would have been about $87,000 with all the step increases if they hadn't come after me the way they did. And friends, if Joe Biden, if he had never been president in the auto pen, friends, this would have never happened. If election stolen, they would have never done the diversity, equity, and inclusion the way they did. 2 directors, I got 2 directors gone. They're no longer in the government. Paul Russo gets a retirement, but Christina Brown, that lady took the fork in the road. And that fork ended back there in September. Because that fork had 2 options. Well, 3. She could have just quit. She couldn't have fought me because she knew the lawsuit. She knew the lawsuit was going to be a victory for me. And the fact that Mr. Trump's our president, there ain't no way they can play around with the shenanigans. And friends, I have a meeting with my lawyer tomorrow, and I'm demanding an update. And friends, it goes off to the relief phase. And maybe that's why the petitioner, friends, when we had court yesterday, I'm in my orange jumpsuit. I had to do the teleconference, and the petitioner did it from home. And I told the judge, look, judge, right behind you, that's the door, that's my office. That's the door that petitioner kicked in. I had to put a lock on it. I caught her on a hidden camera breaking in there, and she broke into my computer because she was trying to find the video that I'm going to show you on the 11th. Oh, I told you, the judge was not happy at all. The judge had a lot of compassion. And I told you, I have discernment, and I know how to read people, friends. Friends, when you can read someone's body language, you can kind of... The judge seemed very heartbroken. Myself were back in her courts because she knows that last year the petitioner worked with Marchalewski to lie and collude and do all this evil. They did. They were trying to divorce. The petitioner petitioned to divorce me last year. And then the petitioner did some other things, friends. Friends, I can't talk about this. They're going to find a way to violate me just for saying the word petitioner. But the judge had mercy, and the judge kind of told the petitioner and I that, she likes it when adults can work out adult things on their own, where they don't run to the courts and do all this stuff. And then I asked her if she would just toss it out, and she goes, well, Mr. Messer, there's a lot of accusations in here. And there is, friends. They're called false accusations. And friends, an accusation is not a fact. But when you run these courts and you put the kind of garbage that the petitioner put in my injunction, my temporary, well, friends, you're going to get people's attention. But what the petitioner didn't realize was I have evidence that refutes the petitioner's, her allegations, friends. I don't know. I just don't know, friends. Again, I'm in the damn twilight zone. But look, I'm not in a jail any longer. I'm not waking up in my little bunk. I'm not looking around, friends. Even though I had a lot of fun in there, it was a little. I'm not gonna say it was scary, but I mean, you don't ever want to go in a place like that. They take your freedoms. You are cut off from the outside world, and if you don't have a number, friends, I got numbers. I took a Sharpie, and I wrote down Maddie's number, and I wrote down my friend Maggie's number, and I wrote, that's the only two people I trust. And I got a Sharpie on my leg because I was in the war, everybody. I got memory loss, I don't suffer from post-traumatic stress. I did in the past, but those things you can get under control just like I did. I don't take any medication. I don't drink, I don't drug, I don't smoke. Friends, I told you, I'm like blameless. I was doing everything that I was supposed to do, but that lawsuit, friends, when I decided to sue the government and I did my social media, I had to. If I didn't do the Sgt Grizzlegrits, the lawsuit would have gone away. And it is 100% factual that it was going to go away. When I went out there and started my peaceful protest in March of 2024, they were just about to kick it out. I had 5 charges. And then when I was done doing my peaceful protesting, they added 4 more charges, making a total of 9. 9 charges against the government. 9 charges against the managing officials at the Bay Pines VA, everybody. My friend that sold me my RV, Mr. Ross, I hope you're watching, buddy. I told you, the devil's out to get me, but you'll never get me, devil. He has an EEO lawsuit too, but it isn't a federal. It's in the lower courts. His was a workplace discrimination, and it was a class action. And he's got 1 charge because he was a part of a group of people that was discriminated against. Friends, I got 9. I say again, 9 charges. Friends, that's unheard of. I told you it's the biggest stinking lawsuit that they've ever had to deal with. There was 10,000, I say again, 10,000 pages of evidence, everybody. 10,000 pages, 9 charges, there was 10 volumes. 10 volumes. My friend, the guy that sold me the RV, Mr. Ross, he has 1 volume. Oh, hold on, friends, we're about to go through a school zone. Hold on, friends, I don't, you just don't, no, shh. Friends, in the injunction, that the temporary injunction that the petitioner did, the petitioner claimed that I'm paranoid. And that I believe that the sheriff and the Tampa VA are out to get me. But, well, friends, do y'all believe me now? Do y'all believe me now? They've been out to get me for quite a while, and they use the petitioner. They use that individual, friends. It's undisputed at this point. Friends, that's why a lot of people can't go against. A lot of people choose not to sue the government because these things happen to you. You get family members that don't want to have any understanding. They just want to point the finger at you. I don't know, maybe when my lawsuit's done here in a month or so, maybe my family, well, they'll never apologize. They're just not that type of people. I don't know what to say, everybody. At this point, all I care about is my parental rights. I don't want to ever communicate with a petitioner ever again. I mean, I got to find a way. We'll just use the talking parents until the children turn 18, and then we'll just delete it at that point. Friends, you got to understand, when somebody does this to you over and over and over and you forgive them, at some point you got to cut your losses. You got to say, okay, it ain't me. I have done every single stinking thing that I knew how to do to have understanding and compassion for this individual. But now that I'm out on bond with an ankle bracelet, being treated like a damn felon, friends, there's no way. There's no way, friends. There ain't no counseling that could ever put this thing back together. And maybe the petitioner wanted it that way. I don't know. People do a lot of weird things. If they don't have the courage to just leave the relationship or ask for a divorce. Friends, I would have never fought the petitioner. I would have said, you do what you want. It ain't quite working out. I thought we were trying to work it out, but But look at the route that we went, everybody. I mean, I deserve someone that's going to have a little understanding. I deserve somebody that's going to want to be a part of the ministry, that would want to go out there and help feed some homeless folks and be spiritual. You know, somebody that believes in God and follows God. I haven't had that, everybody. It's evident now. Christians don't go out and do this stuff. Christians don't run to the courts and lie to punish people. I've never done that. I'm not even going to call the sheriff to meet me at my house to go get my belongings, because I'm fearful that I'm going to somehow get violated. It's a nightmare. I mean, I pray that y'all never have to go through something like this. It is the most terrifying thing that you can ever think of, because you don't really have to do anything to catch a violation. I mean, you just gotta look. I mean, if the petitioner found out where I was and just started following me in my truck, I'd go to jail, because it'd be 100 feet. If I got on the interstate and I was doing the speed limit and the petitioner pulled up next to me, I'd go to jail. Friends, this is not America anymore. I don't know what the hell it is. But the good news is I was able to go back in the Lion's Den, the sheriff's department, and collect my belongings and collect my money and collect all my IDs and my credit cards and my laptop with all my evidence on it. All my evidence. You know, in my heart, I know what's going on. The petitioner is scared to death of me going before the judge and presenting my evidence, because I think the petitioner kind of understands now that the petitioner might be in a little hot water. And I don't know. I know they love to throw the book at the men. You know, I'm sure with the ladies, they just tell them, oh, don't you do it again, or if you do it again, just do it in a manner where we won't have to catch you. I don't know, friends. It's a nightmare. The only reason I'm doing my social media now is, for one, to give y'all some updates, because I do got supporters, and secondly, there's a lot of families that have to go through this nonsense. There's a lot of men that have to go through this evil, friends. This is nothing short of demonic. Christians do not do this. Everyone I talk to, little Lukey, my friend Jonathan, even Frank, they can't believe. They just cannot believe that this has happened again. I don't know. The petitioner petitioned to divorce me last year, and literally like a week before we were supposed to have that finalized, the petitioner went ahead and violated her injunction, and that slimy detective told me, oh, well, the ladies can violate it anytime. They can. I mean, how is this America? If someone is going to petition in a temporary injunction, friends, we haven't even gone before the judge yet. It's temporary, which means it's probably going to get tossed out. There ain't no battery. Friends, I have not gone around my house. I have not reached out to this lady. But they got me because I reached out to the mother-in-law. And I guess I shouldn't have done that, you know? I always have to learn my lessons the hard way. That's why I've deleted everyone's number out of my phone. I mean, I deleted everybody. I don't want to be accused of mistakenly sending a mass text, and I don't do these things. Friends, this is a nightmare. Again, I have to ask myself, what in the hell did I do to deserve this? I didn't steal money from my family. Yeah, I did kind of say some things on the internet, and I took all those videos down. I shouldn't have done it. You know, you don't meet evil with evil. But friends, I was suffering. I was struggling. You know, it's trying to get my side of the story out there. I'm speechless, everybody. But I'm thankful that I'm not back in the jail. I'm thankful that I got my freedoms. But how long is that going to last, you know? I mean, Hillsborough County's working up some case on me. I just want this nightmare to end, everybody. I'm a peaceful man. I'm a Christian man. I got a ministry. You know, I thought as an American, I'm allowed to have a peaceful opinion about our government. But apparently you're not. You're not. And that's fine, everybody. So when my lawsuit's done, I'm going to take my money and I'm going to disappear, everybody. I mean, I'm not going to be far, because I can't go far, because the petitioner will never leave her job. The petitioner will never leave this county. The petitioner don't see nothing wrong with all the stuff that's going on. The petitioner don't even see anything wrong with Disney and sex and children and LGBT. I mean, friends, I can't make this stuff up. I mean, God has removed me out of this world, everybody. He has took the veil away from me, and I clearly understand what's going on. And the government knows what's going on, and the government knows that I know what's going on. That's why they're out to get you, friends. If you look at Alex Jones, he's the best example. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy guy because the word conspiracy was developed by the CIA, everybody, in the 70s. It's all true. Oh, hold on, everybody. Hold on, please, please, please. I don't want no problems. I'm going to the campsite. I got to get my Starlink up so I can talk to my children tonight. My goodness, you know, I'm a lunatic. I'm a criminal. I got an ankle bracelet. Hold on now. Hold on. It's just a nightmare, everybody. I mean, I'm the nicest, kindest man. I mean, I got along with almost everybody in that jail. I'm talking, I mean, not the crooked detention deputies that literally try to throw my face in the wall. And they threw me in the cell for... Friends, I was just trying to find out where my wallet was so I could bond out like I did last time. The last time I was harassed by this Hillsborough County Sheriff, and they said, we're going to teach you a lesson. We're going to teach you a lesson. And all I had was my scanner in my truck for background noise. I was not scanning that squad. They said I was trying to evade them. I rolled up on the guys, I put my hands out the window, and I handed the guy a business card. And an hour later, I was getting booked down at the Orient Road Jail. And they all said, we're going to teach you a lesson. How dare you go out there and try to expose us? How dare you go around and try to tell people what we're up to? That's fine, that's fine. I don't even sneak and care any longer. I'm not gonna say y'all beat me, but I know when to pull pitch and get on out of there. Again, friends, if I didn't have children with this lady, I would have left this petitioner a long time ago. It just never worked out, you know. The petitioner just could never turn the corner, you know. The petitioner wanted to live in the past and have anger and hatred, and okay, that's fine. I made a choice to forgive my family, forgive myself. I'm not the same man I was a year ago, and I'm certainly not the same man I was in my drinking days, like 4 or 5 years ago. Because I've let God be in control, everyone. And when you let God be in control, things will get hard. I mean, look at me. I know a lot of y'all turned it over to God, and y'all are going through the same type of evil. Friends, I'm not mad that I spent a couple days in jail. I was texting Miss Linnell, that's Mr. HK's caregiver, and I even called Maddie and told him, because my friend Maddie, you know, not to be judgy, but the guy spent like quite a few years in prison, and you know, he most likely did something. And he even will tell you that he's not the guy that he used to be, you know. And a lot of people learn about Jesus and get spiritual when you're behind bars. I don't want to ever go back. Please, Hillsborough County. I mean, whatever silly charge you got on me, I'm a victim here. I never called for violence. I'm not doing none of that social media. I learned my lesson. Trust me. But friends, it's terrifying, you know, but the Holy Spirit was alive and well in the Orient Road Jail, in the Falkenberg Jail. It's crazy. It's like literally I had a glow around me when I was in there, and none of the men messed with me. They all had respect because I showed it right back to them. And I had a lot of good spiritual talks with black brothers, with white brothers, with all the believers, and even folks that were kind of like on the fence. I'm talking young guys, young black guys, young, I mean, they had to be over 18. But we listened to each other because all you got is time just hanging around there. So I would listen to them, and then they would listen to me, and they could not believe because they knew I wasn't lying. You can tell. When you got street smarts like all these men do, you can tell when someone's lying to you. I mean, it's just part of being on the streets, you know, and living that life. It's called the street smarts. All right, friends, I'm back at my campsite. Friends, I would never trade that experience for $1 million, but I don't want to ever have to go through that again, you know. That's why I literally have had to cut my whole family off, friends. My whole family. I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Y'all will never hear from me again. I will never send you a text. And friends, it breaks my heart because I feel the same way about the petitioner. Even when this thing is dropped on January 11th, I want nothing to do with the petitioner. That lady has taken my heart and just crushed it and stomped on it and threw me in jail and had pleasure doing it all. And friends, that's evil. That is as evil as you can get. I've had nothing but forgiveness for my whole family, for the petitioner and even her family. But I can't live in fear. I can't live like I'm some kind of fugitive because someone's going to not understand what I'm doing and run to the courts, and then I'm in the courts again. When you get in the courts, you don't ever get out of the courts. And 2023, in 2023, Jessica Marchalewski taught the petitioner how to do this. And it's never ended, friends. It has never ended. And now I got a misdemeanor for a violation that is the most stretched violation you can have. Friends, I got the ankle bracelet right here. I'm charging my ankle bracelet in my truck because I had some chores and some errands to do today. I mean, friends, this is ridiculous. Why the hell do I got an ankle bracelet on my ankle? I need prayers, friends. I need some stinking prayers. I know y'all are praying. This morning, little Lukey reached out to me, and we did a Bible study on the phone. And then Frank texted me. He didn't know I was in jail, but he knew it was heating up. Frank knew what happened last year, and Frank knew it was heating up. And friends, these things, the way these type of things go, they don't ever get better. It gets worse and worse and worse. And now I got a misdemeanor for a violation on a temporary injunction that should have never put in place. And the second I show that video to the judge, it's going to go away. But I still have a misdemeanor now. And I have to go to court for the misdemeanor. Even when the injunction is tossed out, I still got to go to court for that. I'm very happy to report that the GPS monitoring company, they had a lot of mercy on me. So instead of paying $12 a day, I get to pay $10 a day. I mean, every bit helps, friends. I haven't even had real food in a month, so I went out and treated myself. Do y'all know the last time the petitioner did this to me and I was allowed to be around my children? We would take them to church, and then I would take the children to church, and then I would take them to Steak and Shake, and that was like our little thing, and we did it every other Sunday. But then when the petitioner dropped all her nonsense, and then we got back together, we reconciled, we started going as a family after church. But it's hard with the petitioner schedule, you know. The petitioner's a nurse and works on the weekends, and, you know, after a while, we just kind of got out of sync. Friends, it's a nightmare, you know. I cannot believe that this is happening all over again. I'm waiting, like I'm going to be laying in my bed trying to sleep, and I'm going to get the sheriff knocking on here because they violated me. Friends, I just can't explain this. I don't want nothing to do with the damn petitioner. I don't want nothing to do with my damn family. I don't want nothing to do with none of y'all. I just need my children. That's all I need. How dare this devil take my children from me? I just need prayers, friends. You know, I told you, we're in the rebuild. Friends, I have not even had time to decompress and cry and mourn with Jesus. It's just been go, go, go since I've been out. I'm blessed. Look, friends, I do. I got the Starlink right here. So I got to go get my Starlink hooked up so I can... Well, friends, the nice thing about my GPS monitor, I don't have any restrictions. I mean, I can go anywhere in the country if I want. I'm kind of broke. I owe my friend Maggie $500 for the bell, and then I owe her a little more for the ankle bracelet. Isn't that crazy that a friend that I've known for 10 years was the one that helped me get out of jail, and my family all just turned their damn backs on me? I haven't stolen from my family. Yeah, I've talked bad about them because they're rotten people. But friends, I told you, you know, you can't pick your family. And a lot of us have real rotten people for family members. And unfortunately, right now, I'm one of those folks. What a nightmare, friends. What an absolute nightmare. You know, when your family is so bitter and vengeful that they will just turn you over to the detective and let you spend... Well, I guess they would have been happy if I spent a month in jail. Teach you a lesson. We're going to teach you a lesson. Well, it's going to be God's going to be the one teaching y'all the lesson. I don't teach lessons. I've learned that a long time ago. Oh, yeah, you missed the whole story. Oh, it's a nightmare, you know? Doing my Sgt Grizzlegrits, doing my peaceful protesting the Bay Pines VA, then protesting the Tampa VA. They were in my medical records illegally. Protesting the Hillsborough County Veterans Park, protesting the sheriff. Well, the petitioner was not supportive, and the petitioner had enough. So the petitioner turned me over to the sheriff. and worked and colluded with the work and the sheriff and did a lied-filled injunction right over here. So I got expertized for the third time because of the petitioner. I've had 10 mental health exams in the last 2 years. The petitioners had none. But the courts don't care. All they need to know is veteran, PTSD, which I don't have, guns, which I do, but they're all locked in a gun safe. Ain't that nice? How many fights have I got into this month? Let me think. 0. Uno Maruno. Look, friends, I don't need silly comments. Y'all just keep them to yourself, you know. I'm going to go enjoy my dinner, and I'm going to get my Starlink hooked up, because I get to go talk to my children here in a little while. Look, friends, it's a nightmare. It's a spiritual battle. So look, I'll be on later. Hopefully I'll have my internet hooked up. Y'all stay groovy, and we'll see you around. We'll see you on the trail.